Good evening, model railroaders, and welcome back to the Second Section podcast, where it's just regular folks talking about model railroading. I'm your host, Andy Dorsch, and joining me this evening is my co-host, Mike Ostertag. Mike, how are you doing?
I am doing amazing.
Really?
I've had a good week.
You have had a good week.
I
You
have had
have.
I have had beyond a good week. I have had a
Yeah.
phenomenal week. It's just it's been awesome. Beyond everything I ever thought it could have been.
Really?
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Well, you know what? Inquiring minds want to know what was so good this week.
Well, I got a box in the mail
You got a box?
and it had some box cars in it.
Well, Shazam.
It kind of looks like that one that's over your left shoulder right there.
That little guy? Don't worry
That
about
little
that
guy.
little guy. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
that
that
little
little guy. This one, I gotta tell you, is a damn fine looking boxcar, if I do say so my damn self.
I tell you what, I don't know how to say this really, but Rapido and Chris Palomari at Home Shops, they far exceeded any of my expectations on what this car was going to look like.
Really?
Oh my goodness. It's perfect. It is the most perfect thing I've ever laid my eyes on. And I am saying that because it's my railroad. I am not going to apologize for being proud of the way this turned out. And this just a day or two ago, I got a message from Chris.
Mm-hmm.
They are sold out.
Yeah.
And it's the only cars of the run that's sold out so far.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts. I mean, we're talking about the Allagash and Cardinal System, V&O.
Yeah.
And then there's my little old railroad and
the Podunk FT.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful car.
You got one handy there?
I do have one handy.
All right.
It's right
here. Let me get you on the big screen there so we can see.
Yeah, handy dandy little car.
Yeah.
My camera's a little bit of ways away because that's where it fit. But the level of detail that's on these is just amazing. I don't think I need to take one out. I'm not going to take one out.
No, we can look at mine if we want.
So
I got 4 of them, right? So you can see, just the look of it right there.
Crispness on the lettering is just absolutely mind blowing.
I like the green grabs too on the ends.
I debated on whether or not to go with the green grabs or to stay with the tan, and I kind of went back and forth, and that was actually something that took a couple of emails between Chris and I to kind of settle on, because the S scale version one that it's based off of, which is this car right here.
Hold on, let me get you back in the frame.
Which is this car right here.
Yeah.
That has the tan grabs.
Yeah.
So everything is tan on it. But if you hold yours up once to the camera.
Okay.
Here's the S scale version.
That one you did custom.
This one is my own personal custom job, and that's the HO version.
That's pretty good.
I would say they nailed it. I mean, they absolutely nailed it out of the park. I am so proud, and I want to say thank you to everybody that bought them. And with any kind of luck, there may be some more cars in the future.
Wow, I love to hear that.
It all depends. It will depend on the type of car and the whole process and stuff. So it will depend on that, whether things happen. So
let me ask you this: how was your experience working with Home Shops to get this set up? I mean, we've had Chris on the show, but we don't do a lot of shop talk, with him on the show, right? So we can kind of talk crap about him behind his back if we want to. No, like seriously, how was the show, or like how was his I guess process and all that to work with him?
Um, I have nothing bad to say about the process at all. The first thing you need to understand, oh yeah, I've gotten a lot of people that want an N scale one.
Yes.
I know a lot of them. I know a lot of people are looking for N scale. We'll see, biding our time. That's not on me. That is not on me. So that is all on home shops and whoever is got a car available to do something. So,
Sure.
but as for the process of working with Chris, first of all, it really helped that we had a really good rapport with each other
Mhm.
ahead of time, and it wasn't
Yeah.
one of those things where it was just, oh hey, out of the blue he called. This has been something that's kind of been talked about ever since the Rocky Mountain Train Show last year. So it's kind of been a process of, oh hey, by the way, would you be interested in, or we have something going on, and you just you just kind of take it from there, and the next thing you know, oh hey, I have an extra spot for a car, are you
Yeah.
interested?
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah, I'm interested, let's get this done.
Yeah,
And
let's
then
do
there's
it.
and he walks you through step by step by step exactly how the car is going to go together, exactly how the paint scheme is supposed to look, variations on things that you might not normally as a modeler think about, but
Mhm.
in a production standpoint are very important things to
Hmm.
have to know. And so it was basically seamless. It really
Yeah.
was. Um, there was very little back and forth because I had my mind made up. I already had a prototype for the car, for the paint scheme. I told him right out, here's what I want. I sent him everything that he needed. So everything that he needed, and then the original decals were done by Circus City, and so we had to get him involved with sending the logo or the herald and things like that down to them so
Sure.
that they had the proper heralds and the right size, because
And the
it
lettering,
the lettering was right. Everything had to
right?
be, right, and it took a little time. And you know, I think you have told me in the past, and I now understand this. Deadlines are an awesome motivator.
That's true, they are. They are.
A deadline can be a very big old motivator because, um, if I remember correctly, there this was kind of, it wasn't last minute, but it was one of those things where there was a little bit of a shorter deadline to get this done, rather in order to get it for Rapido to be able to do what they needed, because they
Yeah.
have a deadline, right?
Sure.
So the Rapido had a deadline on the car, and so that means Chris had to have a deadline, and so
And Mike
Chris
had to
put
have a
that Mike
deadline.
had to have a deadline.
Yeah.
So it was one of those deals where um there was no I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It was, okay, give me 2 minutes, I'll get that to you now. Hey, I need this sent to this as
Yep.
soon as possible.
Yep.
Is this the right one? Yes. And it really helps that everybody that was involved in the production of the cars worked with each other, knows each other. It was very, very yeah, backwards planning is awesome. um I always say the best plan is to not have a plan. Yeah, not in this case. So
I don't think that's gonna fly here. That's not gonna
yeah, that didn't
track.
work. But bottom line is it was an amazing process. Chris is absolutely one of the most level-headed people I have
Yeah.
ever had the pleasure of working with. And I'm not saying that because he's gotten to be a really good friend of ours. I'm saying that as from this was strictly a business type deal, right? This is a
Mhm.
business production deal for a production piece of model railroad equipment. There
Yeah.
was no, this is all that. Absolutely amazing to work with. Just level-headed, knows his stuff, and I can't wait to work with him again. I just absolutely can't. Um,
That's good.
so um, it was awesome. I just can't say enough. So I want to thank you, Chris, very, very much. Thank you, Rapido. Um, it forced me to make a couple of pretty tough decisions. And I'm really happy with the direction I'm going right now. So I mean, I'm like beyond ecstatic about the direction I'm going right now. But that's not why we're here.
No, it's not. That's just one part of the show tonight. So
Yeah,
that was our little intro spiel. And we'll call it hashtag not sponsored. But because that was one of the things we were going to do tonight, but
yeah,
I think that one just kind of took center stage right off the bat. However,
yeah.
I do since we're doing this and we're giving out thanks, so I want to give
Oh,
thanks to all of our patrons that are out there supporting the Second Section podcast. So thank you again for sticking with us and helping us support the show and all of our costs that we have helped defray those. And again, if you want to find out more about what it is that we do over on the Patreon side of things, Second Section Podcast. If you do the search in Patreon, you can find us there. But again, thanks to all of those. Since we're giving out thanks, we couldn't do this without your guys' support. So thank you. So yeah, but that's not the reason. That is not the reason why we're here. So we're here to talk about, well, we were talking about the car. I thought they did a great job and the cars look amazing. I've also seen some really good weathering and some really good I guess like people putting graffiti on them and stuff like that. They really look cool. And sharing them on the internet. Tom Johnson did a couple of nice weathering jobs on it, and the Arvada and Western. That
yeah.
person just nailed it. The cars look really good weathered.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
and was it the Arvada Western that did the Allagash cars also? Is he the one that did the Allagash cars?
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Oh my god.
They look so
I
good. They look
That's
so
got
good.
dude, you need to put a clinic on how to do
Yeah,
weathering with it. That is just top-notch
weathering
stuff.
yellow on top of it. That's tough.
Yeah, yellow and tan.
Right. So that's good. It was, I don't know. I think the cars look great and
Thank you
they're,
very
yeah.
much. Yeah,
But
thank you. And they like I said, there with any kind of luck, there will be another car in the future. And so with any kind of luck, this won't be the last Farland Terminal car that you guys will see.
yeah.
But these things take time. They take time. I mean, this was almost a year in the making,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that
I
was
bet.
probably fast. That was probably pretty quick, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those deals where yeah, it's kind of cool. It's what's really neat is turning on the internet and seeing that these things are all over the world.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
My wife
That's for
says,
sure.
my wife, she says, "You're famous, honey." I'm like, "Well, I don't know about that, but it's definitely it's definitely I've got my own little dot on the map now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And it's like the movie Three Amigos, right? You ever see that one with Chevy
a
Chase
long
and Louis
time
Schultz,
ago,
Steve
yeah,
Martin, right? Yeah.
yeah,
They're like, "Oh, he's so famous, he's infamous."
infamous, yeah.
Infamous El Guapo. So anyways, no,
So
congratulations, Mike.
thank you
And
very,
yeah,
very much.
cars look great.
Thanks, I appreciate it, and I don't want to take away from the other cars either. That
Yeah, they all
Allagash car and the Cardinal System car, I did not get a V&O one this time because I've got a couple of the other ones. So I
here's
didn't.
this is a good one. What's the farthest Farland terminal car is from you? So Darren's in Oregon.
Oh,
That would
well,
be something fun to find out.
I believe Paul Cassar in Australia has one. So if we want to talk about the lower 48
Yeah, you're in
strictly, I think you are definitely in the running. But I believe Paul Cassar bought one
in Australia.
in
He's
Australia.
the executive producer of the Around the Layout podcast.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So that, to my knowledge, may be the longest or farthest away. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're definitely in. If it's Oregon, I have two in California.
Yeah.
So there's a
If you're,
couple in California. I mean,
if you're looking to find a couple, so Justin at Engine House Services has a few in stock. As
yeah,
of this afternoon, he said his orders showed up today, so
yeah.
they're there.
I
There's a
know
couple.
I know Justin bought a couple of a handful for the store
Yep.
as stock to sell.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, if you're looking for one, I'd get on them. I'd get over to enginehouseservices.com and try to see what they have. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're they're they've especially once they got delivered. As soon as they got delivered, uh, gone. They were done.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted them after they saw that they physical.
Yeah. So David Winther put the link in the chat
Thank you, David. And
for the Engine House.
he's an employee there, so I mean he knows all the ins and outs there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, wait a minute.
This is a good time to talk about some topical news, right? Mike,
Uh-huh.
so we all know Mike Confalone, or at least have potentially heard of his freelance railroad, the Allagash, right? And so now he
Right.
started one called the Androscoggin in Western Maine, and so he has bought, or his railway has bought some of the old C628s from the Chicago Northwestern, and he
Yeah.
made some comments about Zito Yellow, and I happen to be probably one of the 3 people on planet Earth that actually like that paint scheme. But yeah, Mike had some comments about that. But I will say this: I saw the locomotive on his layout on his Facebook group, and it was beautiful. So it looked
He
right at home there.
he does amazing work on anything he
Yeah,
touches too. I mean, it's
yeah,
I hope I wish him I can absolutely relate to what he's going through. Obviously, and so yeah, the Zito Yellow though, Mike, I'm telling you right now, we might there's there's a 12-step program for that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Zito. I never was, even in I just wasn't a fan of it. But now that the C&W is gone, yeah,
uh,
it's just something we all need to accept as part of history. Thank
I
God.
refuse.
Thank God.
Yeah. Hey, Milwaukee Road went first, so eat it.
Yeah, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
All
So,
right.
anyways, so let's get back on track here.
Sure.
So again, we're here for a reason this evening. So, when we last left our heroes talking about, and you know what, I appreciate the people coming to my rescue here for the Zito Yellow. I think
The-
it's
You know what? You should have to paint your car Zito yellow then.
I will. I'd paint my pickup truck Zito Yellow if I had to, if I could.
Zito yellow with a green cab.
There you go. Just like the Northwestern.
Yep.
Yep. Anyways, so when we last left our heroes, we were talking about some design changes back. I think it was back in January, maybe February time frame, on the Mascoutin Valley Railroad, and I had
Yeah.
basically given a backstory of what was it that I wanted, and I started building it, and I started to find that things just didn't they didn't lay out, pun intended, I guess, the way that I wanted them to. So for example, the ore dock, I had jammed in on the other side of this peninsula here. We'll call it the studio, right?
Oh,
Um, but I had the ore dock in there, and I had a pretty ridiculous grade to push cars up. Um, push cars up the ramp and then get them onto the ore dock, and it worked okay. But I was looking at the scene, and it left a lot to be desired. The scene was shallow. I only had 2 tracks for the ore dock, and I kind of want a 4-track dock, right?
yep,
To be, representative of the docks that were, in Upper Michigan and, Ashland, Wisconsin, and in Duluth, right? So made it worthwhile for the boats to come by and pick up ore from that location, right? Because that's
yeah,
another thing you got to consider too. The yard was a bit tight and kind of jam packed, and then I didn't have a staging yard, so like operationally things didn't jive. And then the plan was is that I was going to have, essentially this railroad down in the basement span 70 miles ish to go from mine to dock. And the layout of my basement is not really conducive to having like a double deck. So the mainline run was not a plausible idea. So I'm gonna just I got a couple of pictures here that I want to share with you
all right.
guys. Maybe. Um, and people are just still carrying on about the Zito yellow, which I love. I love. Let me see here. And I think this was the track plan that we had settled on at the time. So you can see there's the ore dock and the ore yard is off to the right hand side of the screen here, and it's all kind of jammed in, and then the trains are supposed to go all the way around for 70 miles, go past a paper mill, and then end up at the pellet plant here. And
Right.
and it it was an all right plan, but the ore dock was too, it was jammed in down here, and as you enter the basement, I wanted to have a really big kind of a grandiose scene, right? And
Yeah.
what would be better than an ore dock with a giant ore boat right at the bottom here when you walked in. And so then I got to thinking, and that's the worst thing you can do when you're still in the design phase of building your model railroad. But a couple comments over the course of the last, I don't know, few months stuck with me. The first was John Parker. We had him on our show, and we were talking about layout design. And one of the things that he said was, if you don't like it, get rid of it and start over.
Yep.
And that stuck with me. Um, it really stuck with me because I didn't like where the design was going. I didn't like how it took. I was actually timing it out because I had a main line in here and all had it all the way around, and it would take me from 5 minutes at slow speed to basically go 70 miles, and it just
What was the mainline speed going to be on your layout, or what is the mainline speed
the
going to be?
mainline speed would have been, I think, at in the non-yard limits, I think it was 30 miles an hour, right?
Okay.
Which was
Yep.
what the Chicago Northwestern basically had for full ore trains.
Yep.
Um, so, yeah, here's a quick note from Robert Pettit. As of a couple seconds ago, all 4 numbers were available at EHS. Thank you, Justin. So, but anyways, get back to my story. Just it didn't sit right, and I wanted the operations to actually last. Right, I didn't want or operations to just carry on and then back and forth, and a half hour later we're done operating and it's on to the beer drinking or whatever, which is fine, but that's not what I wanted out of this layout. So
Right.
I went back to uh, the given the Givens and Druthers here. so to speak, of what I wanted, out of this railroad, right? And I wanted the ore operations, the iron ore operations, and ore dock, right? 1 to 5 people, super detailed, big and small customers, a working yard and an engine facility. And I've been doing a lot of talking with you. We talked about other ore haulers like the LS&I and how their
Yep.
operations were.
Yep. We
And
talked a little DM and IR.
we talked a little DM and IR. And then I got to thinking even more. If we go back, half of the stuff I put on this track plan, they weren't there. There were no small customers. There was no real switching opportunities. It was just two big, massive,
Points.
points essentially. And so we went back to the drawing board, and I started to think about, what did I really like? Well, I like Boomer's layout, right? I like
Yeah.
that he has, basically the marine scene, and then kind of, some series of small industries that are served like onesie twosie type things. I was thinking about it. I really like William Sampson's Hiawatha district. I
Yeah.
love the big grain elevator scene, and being able to shuffle in quite a few cars, and then I like that switching aspect. And so I'm like, well, why don't I just do something that I like? You think that'd be pretty obvious, right? Um, so we're gonna change a few things, and change some concepts. So I'm gonna stop sharing here for a sec. So
You
there
know,
was the
I
my
just I just happen to think there's two railroads coming to mind that we never talked about either.
yeah,
And boy, do I ever hesitate, knowing how this whole process has gone so far.
yeah,
Do I ever hesitate to bring it? We never talked about LTV Steel or Erie Mining up in Minnesota,
yep. And North Shore Mining, I've
or
talked.
North Shore Mining up in what is it, Silver Bay, I believe, Minnesota. Those are two more ore hauling railroads that
Right.
are very influential when it comes to hauling of the red dirt.
Yes, right. Being part of the red dirt mafia.
Yeah.
Right. So that's interesting that you bring that up, because that was kind of the, between them and the DMI and IR, kind of got me thinking about. And then one other person made a comment. Luke Lemons a while back said to me, "Well, why don't you just model one town?" I'm going, "What?" And then so I said, okay, so what would have all of these things that I want? So I went and I started looking at our good buddy Google Maps. And though this is a really good comment here from Tom
Yeah.
Kanoski, before we get to another screen share, mainline operations are difficult to model without a lot of compromises.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right.
That's awesome. That's an
Yeah.
awesome fact.
So I didn't want to compromise in my case. So I out here, um, I spent a lot of time looking at Escanaba, Michigan, right?
Yep.
So for those that aren't familiar, Escanaba has an ore dock over here, on the shores of Lake Michigan, and um, keeping the idea of, well, what if I just modeled one town? I could essentially have the starting point be the entry yard here. So this was, I think it was ore yard number 6,
Yep.
if I'm not,
That's 6 yard right there. Yep.
yeah, 6 yard here, right? And so my railroad would have something of this nature, where, okay, we have 6 yard, or number 6, where we can bring in ore trains, we can bring in manifest freight, and then if we go along the line here, and this is all Escanaba and Lake Superior now, and some Canadian National. I think they still own the ore dock here.
Yes.
but I could have the ore dock, and then I could also have other industries as well um, be part of the railroad. So there's within Escanaba here. There's also Billerud, a big paper mill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big plant.
And this is a ginormous plant. There's all sorts of other like one-offs here in the Escanaba area. And so I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh man, what if I just instead of having the 70-mile run, what if I just did one town?
Yeah.
So that's what we're starting to piece together, the different elements now, for just a single town. Another area that we looked at, or that I looked at, I should say. So we talked about the North Shore, right?
Yep.
But one of the things that really drew me was I wanted to have some sort of engine facility, and so let me just take a little looky loo here. I need to go to this one. So the other area that I studied was Duluth, Minnesota. And so this
Oh.
the Canadian National Proctor Yard. I think
Yeah.
this was old DMNIR, if I'm not Duluth,
Yes.
Wasabi and Iron Range, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this yard is huge, and it also has a pretty awesome engine facility here as well. Um, but if you look at where the track goes from south out of Proctor to the shoreline, you can see there's a bit of green space in here, which I
Yep.
did want to have a little bit, but it's not, umpteen miles like I was trying to model. But then, you get right down to it, and here on the shoreline are the various industries, right? So here's it looks like a coal area here. I believe the ore dock is, let me get my bearings here. Want to say here
Yep.
is
That's a
the ore
couple of them
dock.
right there.
Yep. And then the other
Yep.
thing that I wanted to do, and this was largely in part because I have an addiction to Home Shops cars, um, is all the grain elevators on the water as well.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was looking at it and I'm going, oh my God, I could have everything I want. And instead
Yeah.
of having a big traversing mainline runner, I basically do the last mile or the last 3 miles of a railroad, and do all the industries on the waterfront. So I can get my ore, I can get my covered hopper affliction
Yep.
or addiction scratched, and then I can also have a paper mill or some sort of other, maybe not even a paper mill. Here's a warehouse district that just serves boxcars down here in Duluth.
Yeah, you kind of, it's almost like the best of every world you need that you could possibly have.
Right.
And it's all it the one thing that is cool about Duluth area is that everything's on the water for the most part.
Yep.
There's so much that is served by both rail and by boat.
Right.
And I I think that, are those 5 packs?
They
Sure.
are.
Wow, that's cool. So I mean, see, you could do so many things. Now, you're not going to be able to do all of it. It just, you just
No.
won't. But I like this idea. I like this idea a lot.
And we've had like was it Ralph Heiss on the show with
Yep.
his harbor operations. We've had Tom Klamoski, right? I mean, he with compressed, or not compressed, but more of a focused operations, right?
Just make sure you don't compress the cool parts.
Well, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm sure I'll have some.
Like an integral switchback that is key to the operations of a railroad.
Oh, from the marble,
I don't
the
know.
marble quarry.
I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe we should get Tom back on here to defend himself once again on that, because I mean it just because I just like giving Tom crap about it. I totally understand. I totally get why he had to do what he did for the space that he's in. But I mean, what he had to cut out is such a shame, because that is such a cool little part,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an amazing. You have like the pick of the litter here as to what you want to do and how you want to do it.
So then I got the idea. So I think Mike Slater just mentioned the comment, and then he says, all you need is a hidden staging yard. I thought about it, and I says, boy, he's right. So what I wanted to do for the approach to the ore dock, so this is the Lake Superior and Ishpeming dock, right?
Yep.
And there's quite an incline that pushes the cars up the hill, but you can see this is where they bring their ore trains into stage before they put them on the dock.
Yes. Yeah, that's
So
the west. That's the west yard there.
That's called West Yard.
In Marquette.
Right.
That's West Yard in Marquette. Yeah.
So what's really cool about this is here is the ore yard, and that's the most important part of this. But Mike had said something about hidden staging. Well, look at the light colored area behind the dark colored ore cars. So this could be, if I place this behind the yard itself, you could have hidden staging. And I was perusing YouTube, and I saw the coolest idea to get behind a backdrop for hidden staging.
Really?
And so I feel absolutely horrible. I cannot remember the content creator's name or handle on YouTube, but what they did was, and I'm going to stop sharing so I can, I guess, pantomime how this happened. What they did was they put 2 2x4s as their framework for their backdrop, and then they mounted or I'll do it on this arm. They mounted drawer slides, like the really fancy drawer slides vertically. And then on the back side of it, they put a hydraulic or like a pneumatic ram, like you would have on the topper of a pickup truck, right? To open up the tailgate thing that holds the glass part up above. So basically he had a little lever, he pulled the lever, and then the backdrop just went up on the drawer guide rails, and then the hydraulic thing just pushed it back up.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And so that gave me the idea of I can have hidden staging now behind this little staging ore yard. So I think that I don't want to do too much with all of this, right? But what I am looking at doing is, and I'll bring my map back up, or my ore yard here, or not ore yard, track plan. I'm all nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. I saw Tom Barbalet was in the chat, and I think that's why I got nervous. He's so well.
He'll do that.
So
he does that. He does that to you.
Yeah. So, anyways, so we're gonna put the dock where the pellet plant is to date, and then this little nook that you said has such a good opportunity for operations. This area is going to be the warehouse district kind of deal. With on the end here is going to be the grain elevator scene, and I'm going to situate the grain elevator so the silos are quote unquote on the water, and the water is the edge of the fascia all the way around. So you'll actually bring the cars back in and be able to access them from around the corner. Kind of like
Wow.
what Tim Garland did with his ADM scene on the
Yeah.
Seaboard Central. Kind of like
Yep.
that, but flip it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the staging area will be in here. My little mini ore yard will also be in here. And then I'm gonna steal that idea for that liftable backdrop. That was such a good idea. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
But
I tell you what, the way you've approached this so far is really, really smart. I mean, it's you're not really. I know at one point when we first started having the conversation, I remember you really were at odds with how you really didn't want to give up that ore dock
right,
and you didn't want to give up the pellet plant, but nothing made sense. It just didn't make sense to do both of them.
right,
And then you threw the paper mill in there, as the paper mill was actually thrown in as a compromise to do more switching to supplement the pellet plant and the ore dock.
right.
And then all of a sudden, well, I don't know if I really need the pellet plant. Do I need to have that? Do I need to do this? Do I need the ore dock? I'm like, you gotta have one or the other. You gotta have
Mhm.
either. If you're gonna do an ore railroad, you have to have a place for
Right,
the stuff to go or come from, one or the other.
right.
And yeah, this is sometimes it's just doing a one or two little button clicks can really like ring the bell, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Well, and like the big takeaway for me was, I mean, we talk daily about the subject,
Yeah.
um, but I was doing some crowdsourcing, but then other people would approach me and ask me a bunch of things, and then I would just stand down here in the layout room and be like, and kind of mimic trains going around the room and around the wall, like late night model railroad suggesting here. um and it took a lot of me just standing in the space to figure out like what was it that I really wanted. um yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
so yeah,
that's what it takes sometimes, is just to stand there by yourself and say, what can I envision? What can I see? How do I want this to look? And then you're like, oh, this whole idea is crap.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that again to be mean or anything like that. That was basically almost a direct quote
yeah,
from you.
no,
From you, you like
yeah,
called me that one day. You're like, my railroad's crap. I'm like, okay, here we go. What are we gonna do? What
yeah.
are we
I'm like,
talking
this is
about?
this is hot
This is
garbage.
this is hot garbage. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, well, what are we gonna do? What are we talking about? Here we go. Because it's usually it was actually kind of refreshing, because usually it's me saying the messages,
yeah.
you know, but
No, it's good, and like yeah, and usually stand there and ask myself, what the heck was I thinking? And it's funny too, like some of it's like I don't know, I kind of equate the situation to like my 8 almost 9-year-old son, right? I can be the parent. I have all these friends that are essentially my parents in this situation telling me, "Don't do that, Andy. You're not going to like it. It's going to it's going to taste bad. Don't eat it." And what do? I go
you
and
do it
eat it.
any
I
you
eat
do
the
it
dirt.
anyway.
I eat the dirt, and and I have to learn the hard lesson myself. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but but this is one of the largest hazards about doing freelance model railroading,
yeah,
is you constantly have um there's always a sense of, am I doing the right thing?
yeah,
Am I going in the right direction? Will this be believable to people? Y- you know um how can I do this better? all those things. Whereas that's where prototype guys have such a leg up in that when it comes to layout design and things of that nature, is because of the fact that the the real life one-to-one did everything for them. They can just have to, well, I'm not going to put this town in because I don't have room. Okay, fine. That's one thing. You don't have any of the towns to even think about taking out,
No,
right?
right.
So I mean,
I got trees.
yeah, you have trees, and beautiful trees, by the way. They're nice trees, but they aren't paying the bills, so to speak, on the railroad. Not that you want. So
Right.
it's sometimes it's a being a freelancer. This is the tough part when it comes to layout design.
Yeah. And the thing is, and Ralph, how many times do you have to learn? And how many times before I set on something? But I think one of the other things that I have learned from this situation is that I'm going to give myself I guess the authority to make mistakes, right? Because if I didn't try it, I wouldn't really know what I like. And for me, like, I want to go to other people's layouts and operate and see how those are, but my life and my schedule just they don't it's not conducive to that type of activity all the time. So I have to
You're busy.
I'm a busy dude, right?
You
So
got to go to work to relax.
right, right, exactly. But long story short, like, so giving myself the ability to make these mistakes and saying that's okay, and essentially listening to the people that are trying to help me along the way, say it's okay to make a change. If you don't like it, tear it out. um build Try building just one town. Build what you like. Those things should stay with you and resonate, because so now I've got the on the other side of the peninsula, the yard's already laid out. I have some time off this weekend and next week, and so the construction begins. And then the new room that I put in down at the other side of the basement, that's got all of the carpeting in, and I got two lazy boys set up in there now. And
All right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now I
Eh,
got a place to go and sit and bark orders now.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just gonna be a fun spot. We're gonna get the bench work in there, and then we're gonna get back on our feet here. But it's like I said, it's a learning experience, and I'm relatively young, you know. So
Okay, so question I have on
sure,
this whole deal is, how does this affect what you're looking to do as far as um, rolling stock and locomotives and things of that nature for the Mascoutin Valley? Because when you make a decision like this and you make changes like this, it can really adversely affect. I mean, you might have all sorts of really cool things that would be, perfect
yeah.
for a railroad that does A to B operations, but you're sticking in A. So how is doing this going to affect your buying power, so to speak, or what you're gonna need?
Oh, um, that is an interesting question. I think with some of the um, so there, I think what I have going on here is the ability to have. So I need some big power. I'll need some six axle stuff to bring the ore back and forth between the dock and the yard. So I have to have some six axle stuff there. A lot of four axle power for or smaller six axle power, like a maybe an SDL 39 or SD 18 or 9 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, so some of the smaller 6-axle and larger 4-axle power for some of the other stuff, and then I'm gonna need switchers, right? So I got an SW 1200 that I'm painting up, and I have one of your Wisconsin and Midwestern. I think it's SW 1200 or an S. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
yep, at 1200, and that's going to be part of the operation plan. So I think from that aspect, from like locomotives, um, I have to be a little more selective now with the big stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to be GP7s, GP9s, GP38s,
Well, now hear me out.
rebuilds,
You're doing what, 1985-ish?
87.
87? All right.
Yeah.
Well, SDMs
Hmm.
from the DM&IR were still around. SD9s from the DM&IR were still floating around.
Yeah.
Bessemer and Lake Erie had SD9s still floating around. They had that for they used those things for for transfer power and stuff. CF7s. Yeah, there you go. CF7s maybe. I mean,
Well,
I,
like the Deemer, they had what, SD38s?
they had SD38
Yep.
AC and then SD38-2s. They had and then they had the SD9s that they rebuilt, lowered the nose, did a bunch of stuff to them, made them
Yeah.
into what they called an SDM, which it always bothered me that they never gave a number to that at locomotive. It's just the SDM, but they're really cool. That would actually be a really cool modeling project, actually.
Yeah. It would
So
be it'd be so this is interesting here. Modeling with Eric Graham. What about some Alcos?
well,
It's nothing's off the table as far
Ellis
as
and I had the alligators floating around in the 80s.
and I have an RS11 that's undecorated that I intend on painting up, and then I have my whole stable of C628s on the Chicago Northwestern.
You could
So
actually model a transition period where the Mascoutin Valley is starting to get into standardization, but yet has a bunch of other stuff still on the
yeah,
roster. That would be really actually kind of neat.
yeah,
Have a bunch of older, like you said, your older Alcos and things of that nature that are really war torn and weathered and beat up, and then all of a sudden
mhm,
you've got this brand spanking new SD40-2 that showed up, or
right.
that's all sharp and shiny and looks like a brand new penny.
So I do have to. Tim Moran is asking about the scene behind me, and so the scene stays. The scene is not going anywhere. So
I
um,
wouldn't let them take it out.
the if the way that we'll access it will be back through the backdrop again. So I never took that track out. So we'll be able to keep the scene and have it be part of the operation. So
Dave Winter wants you to get a Yellowstone. If you're buying it for him,
yeah, if we can find one, I mean
yeah,
they're like hen's teeth. They're rare.
yeah.
So
I
so
I will
anyways,
say this much: that is one of the cooler steam engines out there. That's
the
kind of
Yellowstone,
yeah. The
yeah.
Yellowstones are really neat.
I think MTH made one in HO scale a
Did
while
they
ago.
really?
Yeah, I think
Wow,
so. Um,
I didn't know that.
I mean, not to telegraph anything to the people that bought the tooling for MTH on the Steam line, but boy, you did a Yellowstone. I'm sure a lot of
There's
people
one
would.
right up at Proctor Yard, right up by Proctor Yard.
Yeah,
You can go and measure it. It's right out in the
mhm,
open in the public, and I mean, it's just
yeah,
you can get
just
all
there.
over it. I mean, yeah, I mean, a Yellowstone, HO scale Yellowstone.
Yep, that's
Interesting.
my son's favorite locomotive, by the way. steam locomotive.
Is it
Yeah,
really? That's
he
cool.
had to settle for a mallet, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the the uh the crosses we have to bear sometimes.
Model railroad problems.
Yeah, right.
This true model railroad problems. But
Yeah.
anyways, so yeah, so that's where we're at on the Mascoutin Valley. So I think next month, some point I'll give an update to the section crew here as to where we're at. Maybe even do a layout tour.
Ooh, layout
Yeah,
tours are fun.
yeah. I got this little what's that gizmo that they
A
for
a, a
stabilizing.
gimbal
That's it. Yes, a gimbal. I have one of those now for my phone, so we could do an around the. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Don't want to
and
around the
around the
layout.
layout.
Around the layout exclusive on the second section. But just have a little fun layout tour of the progress that we've made. So
That'd be awesome.
yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah. So that's so yeah. I guess if you guys have questions about the goings on my railroad, yeah, throw them in the chat. I'll be sure to answer them here um, before the end of the show. So yeah. So Mike,
But hey, did
ooh,
you see this? Look at this.
yeah, I love the tech setup you have there, with the being able to toggle back and forth between
Yeah, I could do all sorts of fun stuff with it.
yeah, look at this.
Do that.
Ooh,
There's my
yeah,
Farland
there we go.
terminal.
Farland
Farland
terminal.
terminal is the second
Yeah,
section.
second section. Yeah.
I took the Finger Lakes one off of there.
Yeah. I love that. I love the little screen in the background. I think that's such a
Yeah,
it-
it's
yeah.
it's kind of
Ah,
it's just something goofy and fun,
so
I think.
this is a good question. Am I keeping the Mascoutin Valley name? Yes, I am. That is it's just going to be a fictional railroad set on a coast, or not a coastal, but um a lakeshore on the Great Lakes. I'm thinking of doing Marinette and Menominee, so that way the boats can access and get around Lake Michigan through like Sturgeon Bay, stuff like that. So yes, so I am going to keep that. Planning a new layout railroad operating scheme is fun, right, Andy? It is. It is.
We're
It
having
is
fun,
fun.
damn it.
Yeah, this is the best day of
This
my life.
this is this is fun. We're having fun. There's never a problem. We're having fun. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Will you need any custom made concrete block buildings? The answer is going to be most likely yes. So I'll make sure to hit you up late night when I get to those scenes on the railroad. You could go N scale. I could, but I won't.
Yep. You could,
Yeah.
but you won't. Yep.
Yes, we are again keeping the name. Yes. So that's going to happen.
So one thing that I always find is interesting is I did experience this a little bit with my Farland terminal,
Yeah.
is the fact that when you make a change, like it's pretty well documented. I changed the way I'm doing things, and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
And so I did get a couple of people asking me, well, is it still going to be the Farland terminal? Are what are you doing with it? Blah, blah, blah. Just because I'm making a change doesn't mean the railroad is different.
Right.
The
Right.
railroad is still the railroad. It's just I'm changing the dynamics of the railroad to suit my personal better needs and desires and wants. So
Yeah.
you know we both have system maps for me, my Wisconsin
Yep.
Midwestern. I have a system map for that. I can't model the whole thing. I would probably only model maybe at the most 20 miles of it.
Yeah. Right.
It's a 160-mile system or something along those lines. But it's I'm only going to I would only model 20 miles.
Yeah.
The paper mill scene is similar to like what you're doing. The paper mill that I'm going to be building, that's the end of the line. That's the end of the fictional Nakusa branch that I've got. And
See you later, bud. Sorry.
oh, that's okay. But that's the end of the fictional Nakusa branch, right? So
Yep.
the trains are coming directly in off of the Wisconsin Midwestern. They're coming into this yard that I'm going to have, and that's all the farther those will come. But
Yeah.
they're not even coming that far because they're just going to be staged. It's visible staging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
the Farland terminal is going to be the contract operator for the whole mill. So it all depends. Same thing like what you're doing with the Mascoutin Valley. That you're doing last mile stuff on your layout,
Yeah.
just in a much larger scale. And I think that's awesome.
So let's take a look at the system map. You brought it up.
Yep.
And I did get your, or at least some of your Wisconsin and Midwestern on there.
That's
Uh,
pretty close to perfect. Exactly the way
yeah.
I had it. Yeah.
And so if we were to look, we'll have to update this at some point. But
Yeah.
the where I'm going to be focusing my whole world on is the Menominee point here.
Yep.
So you got the mine feeding into the port here at Menominee and Marinette, and then all the other traffic coming from Antigo. There was a washout between Blackwell and Antigo, and so we had to redirect, right? That's why it
Yes.
looks funny, right? Anyhow, so that being said,
And we interchanged our two railroad, Wisconsin
yes,
Midwestern and Mascoutin Valley. We
right.
interchange at Auroraville.
Yep.
That's, and then the Nakusa portion, that is a real town, but it's going to be a fictional paper mill at that
Yep.
location. And that's what I'm going to be building an HO scale.
Yep. And so, this is again, don't rule out the fact that you'll see a lot of Wisconsin and Midwestern, and then a lot of Farland Terminal, maybe even the Farland Terminals operating one of the paper mills up here in Menominee
Yeah.
for me. So
Yeah, just because I think as modelers, sometimes, especially freelancers, when we come up with a system map, it's automatically, we automatically get the feeling of necessity to have to model as much of it as possible to represent what we have
yeah,
or what we've created. And the reality is that's just not. I, I actually think it's not very healthy.
no,
because
look at me, I've aged so much.
I know you were just 22 years old last week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I mean, seriously though, it's one of those things where you get so hung up on, I have to get this in. How do I do this? How do I do that? You end up with the infamous analysis paralysis, and nothing gets done because every move you make creates questions on every other move you've previously made. So now you're going back. It's like a vicious cycle. You're constantly creating a sense of doubt as to what you're doing, and by doing that, you're not doing anything.
Right, exactly.
And you and sometimes the best cure for that is to pull the plug and just step away for a short bit.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of did that a little bit. I mean, you didn't fall off the face of the earth, but you did have some things going on at home and in your personal life and things like that needed to get taken care of.
Right.
Like that beautiful greenhouse that you built
Had
in
to
the
build that
backyard.
greenhouse.
Oh my God, that thing is gorgeous. I mean, I'm not kidding, man. That is.
You should see it at night with all the little lights on it.
I am so jealous of that, man. That thing is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to take the time away from the railroad aspect, do other things to reset, recharge your brain. That way, when you come back down here and you start looking at things, you have a little bit more clarity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
look at what Boomer's doing on his channel right now.
Oh my God.
He's stepped away and he's doing that that World War II diorama.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Insane. But I mean, I think it's really cool that, you know, he went and did that to take a little break from the railroad, so to speak. So
here's a good one. I keep old photos of structures I've removed and simply use them as photo representations of another beyond the bedroom location on the Cass County. That's an amazing idea. I never would have thought about doing something like that. You know, which there again, that extends the railroad's reach beyond what the railroad that is physically modeled is representing, right?
Yeah.
So, and if anybody's ever seen the, oh my God, I'm gonna get Tom, if I get this wrong, Logan's Port in Indiana Northern, right? Is that it? Please say it's right. But that was an amazing, that was the pre-Cass County Railroad, and it was amazing. That's back when he lived in Indiana.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome. It was just oh, hey, look at correct. Yes. Score one for Mike.
Yeah, we're paying attention.
Yeah.
We're paying attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be fun here. Next couple of weeks going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for those of you that don't live in the state of Wisconsin, we are going through Mother Nature's
fits of rage.
Well, we can let's call it that. We've got one going on right now.
Yeah, I hear the thunder going on right now.
Can't. I've got the radar going on right now, and we've got garbage all around us right now. It's getting kind of dark out, but it's you know.
There's one.
Oh.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a second section show in the
summer if
we didn't have bad weather. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's summertime, and it's a deal where you've got a lot. Your son is very active in extracurricular sports and things of that nature, and
we're in baseball right now.
You know, I believe you're doing some coaching, right?
That's right.
You know, yeah. So I mean, and as a former baseball coach, the little guys and stuff like that, I can understand how much time that takes. Yeah, that takes a lot more time than what people think. But you know, it's good to have other things to fall back on, to reset the batteries and to recharge those batteries. Otherwise, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
I do, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, I took a little break, and even took a little break from the podcast, just to kind of get my life back in order, so to speak. And yeah, so it is a fun time. Yes, Fort McCoy. See some people talking about Fort McCoy in the chat.
Yeah, Fort McCoy.
Time there. Spent time there.
One of Andy's favorite places.
Yeah, fixed trucks there. Anyhow, yeah. So I think that's pretty much our topic for this evening. But we're bringing back our old segments. So last time we had a show, we did the ye old short line of the show, and hashtag not sponsored. And this week, I mean, we have one of our more popular segments back.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what's on your workbench.
Yeah.
So what's at stake tonight for what's on your workbench? What does the workbench of the week winner get? Do you have that thing handy?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let's see.
You sound like the Macho Man, like, oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah, brother.
Macho Maniacs.
um,
The cream rises to the top.
so a little while ago, I gotta take a look at something here.
Sure.
Just give me a second here before.
Is the prize a Slim Jim?
Oh, that would be so awesome.
If I win, I can have a cab ride. I have a cab ride.
Oh, you know what? I would love to be able to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. That would be really, really cool.
Wouldn't it was about 30 years too late on that one.
So about every 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years, uh, gotten to be friends with a gentleman up in Canada, and when Andy and I were part of a different podcast, his name's Patrick Lavallee, and he he out of the blue one time said, "Hey, I got these Canadian trackside guides." And yeah, would you want one? And I'm like, well, sure. Just let me know how much. Blah 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 blah. Next thing you know, it's at my house.
And
and then a
how
couple,
much?
and then a couple of years later, oh yeah, by the way, here's another
The
one.
revised version. Yeah.
Here's a revised version.
Yeah.
So this happened again, but this time he sent one for me, sent one for Andy, and he sent one for us to give away. So I'm going to try to get to, it's absolutely a beautiful book. It's thick.
It is.
I mean, it is very thick. If it covers every aspect, like, of not just the United States but Canada as well.
Yeah.
These are all timetables, portions of timetables for everything.
Yep.
It covers all the Canadian railroads, including their U.S. portions.
Yeah.
So, like CPKC, CN, you name it. There's, what's this one here? I just saw Illinois, Colorado, Connecticut. It covers all sorts of different railroads, museums. It covers everything. It's a really, really cool book.
I'm like, I don't like Canadian railroads, like, ugh. And then all of a sudden I opened it, and then 45 minutes went by, and my tongue's hanging out of my mouth, I'm just paging through it. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cool. Just the information that's in there about the railroads, the timetables, I think there's equipment in there too. There's equipment guides and stuff like that in there as well. And I'm just
going, there's right here. It says like I know.
Here, let me get you up on the big screen.
This is like DM&IR 400 through 499. All the information you want to hear about those is on there. The CN 212 through 281. All the information about and dispositions of those. It's got Ross. Yes, the really majority of it is for Canada, but the like right here's CPKC's U.S. Southern region. Basically, everything that goes and branches out of Shreveport, Louisiana, in every direction from there: Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Texas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama. Arkansas, Louisiana, it all the way down into Mexico even. So if here's CPKC to Mexico, I mean, it's a really good class 1 guide for if you're looking for CPKC or CN or any affiliated railroad that is associated
Ontario,
with those.
Northland,
all the short lines up in Canada, Delaware and Hudson is in this thing, I believe.
It's
It's a good book.
Good book.
It's a good book.
It's a good book.
So the winner is going to get
Yes.
this book right here, this exact
Yeah.
book. So that's it.
So if you wanna learn how to play the old What's on Your Workbench, you have to go out to our Facebook group, Second Section Podcast. You have to find my post from today, basically my call for What's on Your Workbench, and then you have to comment a picture in the in the comments of that original post, and we'll bring it up on the show tonight. And
I am prepared.
yeah,
I have a
you
fully
are.
blank. I have a
Yeah,
blank piece of paper.
I have my
I
notebook
am
ready to go.
I am ready to go. I am.
Yep.
It's signed by Andy and Mike. No, it will not be. I am sorry
No,
to say it
we don't
won't be. I
sully
appreciate
it up.
that. You don't want our signatures.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't need that.
you don't need that. That's not.
Yeah.
No, those
Anyhow,
are. Nobody else
so
wants them.
so let's take a quick commercial break. Everyone, get your entries into the What's on Your Workbench here, and we're gonna kick it over to the Greasy Meat Hands band. That is a really good tune.
It is.
They
It
play
is.
it flawlessly every time. The band is, I don't know, we pay him too much, I think.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
do.
you know, I heard the horn guy, the guy in the trumpet was somebody they found in the parking lot just before they showed up at the studio. And I don't know how they do it, but
I mean, even Marvin Berry still plays with the Greasy Meat Hands band.
yeah, I know. I know.
It's your cousin, Marvin Berry.
You got to hear this.
Yeah.
You know
You
that
gotta-
sound you were looking for?
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
to this.
I love that.
That's a
Mike
great movie.
Shanky. I got to have more cowbell. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so welcome everyone to What's on Your Workbench. So again, we got 55 comments tonight to get through. So we're out on our Facebook group here.
Wait a minute. Did Bob Rivard put his thing in there? Do you know?
Yeah, I did. So Bob and Ralph
Okay.
did some stuff outside of it. So I'm gonna bring those up first.
Because that definitely has got to get talked about tonight.
Yep,
It's just
for sure.
It's ridiculous.
So I think let me see, where's Bob's deal? Maybe up at the top here. Yeah. So this is Bob Rivard.
It's Bob Rivard.
So on my workbench, just finished the Rock Island 311. My photo taken in 1977 was helpful for capturing the correct weathering for my summer of 77 modeling era. Soot black and earth weathering powders were the frosting on the cake to finish the model. The Walthers Proto 2000 Jeep 35 was the starting point. So I'm going to put this. Did I enlarge it there? Make it full screen so you guys can see?
No, it wasn't full screen, but
I got it a little better.
It was a little bit bigger, yeah.
Yeah, this is a beaut.
That's phenomenal. Bob does just absolutely amazing work.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, you look at it, look at the detail, and then look at you look at the nose, right?
Yeah.
Whoops. You look at the nose, and you see the rusting and the chipping that he did there, and then just the grease patch here where the blister for the dynamic brakes normally is. Yeah,
that maroon alone,
yeah,
is amazing.
Good job on the fuel tank too. Yeah, that's really that's the kids would call that hot, I think. Is
that what there's?
I think so.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I'm not smart, so we'll give the old section crew here a one more refresh for funsies. All right, 62 comments now. All right, this is it. All entries closed for for this. So we'll have to start from the painful beginning. Let me see here. Hey. All right. All comments. So, Toa Mats.
This is neat. This is
Yeah.
really cool. This is
This little
kind of cool.
video, this little video here, it says currently testing my RFID system for tracking and weighing cars before it gets loaded onto a car float. The weight will be the basis for sorting the order in which the car float is loaded. When the light blinks, or when the green LED blinks, it's confirmation that the Arduino read the tag and identified the car. So this is pretty cool. We'll go through and I'll just make it a little bigger here. You can see there's a little blipper and went ahead and read it. So that is awesome. It's a cool project.
I'd like to know where he's got the RFD tag mounted on that car.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. What in the Sam Hills Mike got going on here? Okay, Mike Shanky, 297 since I tore my layout, day 297. I'm guessing since I tore my layout out down because of Luke Lemons made me. On my workbench is a few cars to get interchange for the Farland Terminal Railroad Incorporated. I also got a few tortoise switch machines to install. Also going through my rolling stock as I slowly standardize my fleet with weights and going through and checking everything. Otherwise, been doing some projects on the layout and adding backdrops, working on operations as time permits, since my husband list has been keeping me outside. And yeah, it's
The husband list. Don't let him fool you. That's self-inflicted.
let's take a closer look here. We got
He built a swimming pool at his house.
yeah, that's awesome. Got a lot of stickers over here, some Farland Terminal ones. That's nice.
Yeah, that's
It's
always
gonna
good.
get some bonus points for that.
Yeah, he does.
I don't see the taco sauce. Oh,
Well,
hmm.
you can't always have that there.
Well, that's no good, Mike. Mike, it's good. It's a good picture and good work. It's no good, Mike Ostertag. So
No?
no.
Oh.
Yeah, this one's a cool one. So Matt Arenson. These are 6 scale trains Jeep 30s being done for Chris Palmieri's Home Shop's ambassador fleet and will be running / displayed during the Home Shop's freelance forum on 9/27 and 9/28. That's in Colorado.
It is. I'm going to be
They're
there.
being painted in the Texas and Great Northern and I'm going to blow this one, the NT and O, Natchez, Texas and Orient. I'm gonna probably get a stern tongue lashing from Chris for getting that wrong.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Never seen so many scale trains locomotives with their tops off like that. They look good.
That one's a slug. That's kind of cool.
Nuh-uh.
That one right there in the front. That first one. That's a slug.
Oh yeah, look at there's no radiator fans on it.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I learned something today. Here we go. Joe DeLusso. 4 cars from Home Shops being inspected and soon to be weathered.
Lot of space on that workbench.
Yeah, look at that old Camaro though on the picture. At the
Yeah.
top. Isn't that cool?
It is.
But look, I mean, we can get a few more cars in here. Yeah, for sure.
Again, I don't see taco sauce anywhere.
It's got some dibs here, some Pringles in the background. I kind of look like the Pringles guy.
You do now.
I do now. He doesn't have any hair anymore. Here we go, Sal Natale. What's on my workbench is my workbench. Built this last week with my father, and now I have a garage in my new apartment. I have a surface for my drill press and sander, and have my Fremo module end pieces lined up for assembly of the modules. Hey.
That's a good idea.
I like that little Wen drill press. I need to get one of those. That's pretty good. Nathan Crabb, lots going on. The main thing is remotoring several Walthers SD45s that came with a bad batch of motors. Blech.
You know, yeah, that was a really bad deal.
Someone's gonna have to clue me in on that. The motors just the actual electric motor
Yeah,
was the problem.
yeah, I've heard that there's like several issues going on with some of them, and yeah,
This is the first I've heard of it.
look
Huh.
at those beautiful box cars.
They are. I think I spy some taco sauce in the background there. I like
Yeah.
the use of looks like an old roundhouse
Oh, yeah.
box. I have a couple of those laying around. Look at all the Wisconsin Central decals in the background there.
But there's still a lot of space there.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of space.
He says he's just needs to figure out which railroad would work for 2001.
WC.
WC, gotta be WC. All right, Darren Hassett, Workbench is the beginning of my 24 by 8 foot shelf. Ooh, he's got a Farland Terminal car there. Oh, that Canadian and Atlantic Railway looks pretty good.
I know.
CBR, the Coos Bay Rail Link. There's a slug for you.
Yeah.
I like that. Nice,
Yep.
Darren. Here we go, Matthew Goodchild. Where do I start? I've been working on cleaning up a little, and the mess migrated here. Yep, it's how it goes, man. I just perpetually move messes around my basement.
Yep.
Don't mind the coffee cups and the candy; it's needed. Oh yeah, that's quite all right. I have a Milwaukee Road and Norfolk Southern that I'm waiting for a couple of decoders for. Some passenger cars I need to get lit up. But my big win of today was getting my ESU command controller, Digitech Trax controller, JMRI, and Y throttle all to work together through the ESU command controller.
Nice.
Well done, sir.
That sounds like a lot of work.
My Nighthawk router to Wi-Fi the signal instead of the ESU command station. I remember Matthew reached out and asked for a little help on that. Oh, and a Farland Terminal Incorporated boxcar that needs to be opened is in the background.
Nice.
Well,
look at that.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Oh, Thomas Austin. Every time we have what's on your workbench, he's got a new Mopac locomotive.
I know
that he's working on.
I'm so jealous of that. It's just I love the Missouri Pacific stuff. It's so cool.
It's my secret favorite railroad.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Mine too.
Thomas Austin, Atherton Genesis GP15-1 Tsunami or Soundtracks Blue Nami and 4 Soundtrack Sugar Cube speakers, series parallel wiring. That is a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know. My tongue still hasn't healed from that. 2010 release with upgraded wheels, wiring, LEDs, new true color paint, decals, classification lights, truck lights, number board lights illuminated. Thing of beauty, Thomas. I love it. I hope to see more of the Mopac. Here we go. Michael D. Thorson, HO scale scrap gun with scratch built extensions. One of my many projects.
I like that. I like it when
I
like the gun with the extensions on it. That's a great idea.
It's a good scratch build project to start on.
Yep.
Adds an awesome set of details to a car. I think it's a good project.
And it's not overly difficult either.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of baseball, Luke Lemons, the Workbench projects are out on the layout. I've been working on the baseball diamond at the park at Dale. Is it wrong to play into Andy Dorsch's and Michael Ostertag's love of baseball to hopefully get extra points?
Yes. For you, yes.
I will allow it. I will
It'll
allow
be
it.
fine. I'm just disappointed because that's one of my favorite places to on his layout. That first of all, he's doing a great job, and second of all, yeah, I would mess with him so bad in that spot. It would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I would walk by and I would take like a picnic table and hang it from a telephone pole or a garbage can, and I mean, there at one time there were like 6 different things on 6 different telephone poles. And now I don't want to do that because that looks so pretty. It looks so nice.
Yeah, it
And it's
looks really
like,
good,
oh,
doesn't it?
God, yeah, it looks really, really good.
Tony Dixon.
Oh, here we go.
This
The
is
styrene hoarder entrepreneur.
yeah. So if we're looking for styrene, Tony
You
probably has it.
call Tony Dixon, he has it.
Yeah. So it's just a perpetual state of motion is his workbench, and I think he's a former Workbench of the Week winner,
Yes.
and I can tell you this for a fact. If you look back at his old Workbench of the Week photos, the no two are the same. It's really a thing of beauty how he rotates through stock on his workbench so frequently. But I want to read the caption here. It says the primary workbench. I have been building a kit that just got moved to the bench. I have a what if S scale Jeep 60 non-dynamic brake that I'm working on. Just the normal good stuff. And I want to just show you how much like he's got the industrial size Instaset.
Yep.
He has 2 rotary tools here. This one caught my eye. It looks like one's got an electrical problem here with the cord going into
Yep.
the Dremel. Then he's
Yeah.
got another one sitting there. Then he's got the BFD, the big frickin' drill, on
Yep.
the bench as well. He's got panel line taco sauce just sprinkled everywhere in this. For those that want to be future Workbench of the Week winners, look at the usage of the vertical stacking of projects. It's a thing of beauty.
It
Now
is.
he gets minus points here because there are a few good square inches of workbench space to.
Yeah, I know.
You'd
It's
expect more from a veteran like this.
you would.
Yeah.
You be better.
Tony, good
Be
job.
better, Tony.
And
Yeah, but you could do better.
and I'm glad you're back and
I will.
listening
Hey,
to
go back
the
to that
show.
once.
Yeah,
Go back
yeah.
to. Okay, the other thing to notice is the multicolor bottles all over, like old medicine bottles that are being used for things.
Yeah.
He's got some brown. He's got some green.
Yep.
I thought, there's
There's some green ones.
Yep.
There's
So
another
I
green
mean, there's
one.
there's a brown one right there, and just above the cab, right by the glue, just right
In
there.
there.
Yep.
Yep. Here's a
I mean,
USB cable here.
yeah. I mean,
Insta
like
as
Andy
far.
said, here's right there. There's looks like some kind of a locomotive up on this kind of tossed to the left there, right by the USB. Right there, there's a.
Yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
like it may have been something he tried and did not succeed at one point. So
Yep.
that's still there. Take note. This is
Yeah.
really, really how you want to get on the map.
Yep.
I think I'd definitely be worried if I ever saw this place clean.
Yeah.
I would have to. I think we would have to send out a
search party.
A welfare check to make sure that he's
Yeah, health
right.
check.
A health
check. Yeah, health and welfare check. I love it when Tony always he's been so good about posting.
Oh yeah,
on what's on your workbench. So, okay, David Honan, similar to Sal, the workbench itself is a new improvement in my shop, along with 2 carts for the shop and a miter saw. That slot in the middle of the bench. Oh yeah, there it is right there. There you go. A plug can also be inserted where the saws go to create a continuous surface over 13 feet long. Very nice. Perfect for pre-assembling bench work sections before bringing them upstairs to the layout room. Look at his cabinets.
This is just way too nice.
It is nice.
I wish I had that set up.
Me too.
I do not.
No. Nice one, David. Here we go. Eric Rissman. Walther's corn storage may redo the silo seams, though, as it just doesn't look right. Add an operator shack, shorten the cage ladder, and reduce the height to add in another complex. Lastly, built a couple of walkways to add further into the build. That's good.
That looks nice. Yeah.
He gets bonus points for the podcast stickers, both around the layout and second section. I like that. I like that. Tangent. Been there, brother.
He's got bespoke. Whoa.
Is that a crocodile head? What is this?
I'm not sure. That we just had a big thing of thunder.
Yeah, we had one here too.
Yeah, that looked like a crocodile head. Yes.
Yeah, little gator head. On the computer, I have an S-Scale MP15 DC that I'm trying to get finalized so I can print.
That's looking good.
No moss grows on the Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
David Winther.
See, every time. Single time, why do we have to keep telling him about how clean his thing is all the time?
Look at the work though he did on this freight station here.
Oh, I know it. It's beautiful.
I love really nice. the weathered white.
Yeah.
This looks almost exactly like the one that we had in Ripon, Wisconsin. That was on the old C&W. This building here in the back, except it was red.
Wow.
He is well done. What is? Oh, I was going to say, is that a little fifth of bourbon there? No, it's a wash.
It's a wash.
It's a wash. All right, David. Here we go. Eric Rissman's second entry is a customized Walther's engine house for the elevator. This was cool. Look what he did with the details of the electrical boxes. Look at the little gooseneck light. Excuse you.
Thanks you. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'm giving that a like. Well done, Eric.
Ugh.
I like the ridge vents that he put in too. That was good. Here's this guy, Arvada Western Railroad. More home shops, cars getting weathered. This guy, I'm telling you, or gal, don't know if it's boy or girl, but they're doing a fantastic job.
I like the way that he did the graffiti on that Sioux Line car. That was really, really done. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Very talented modeler. Trevor Sokolon. A couple of different Rapido train products on the bench. I've got a Northern Alberta Railway GMD1 in for weathering and an XCN M420, which I think is a really cool locomotive, finished for the Delaware Lackawanna.
I've got a book on the Alberta Northern.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Northern Alberta?
Or Northern. It's a very, very thin book. Really thin. But it covers
it's more
the railroad very well. It covers the whole history of the railroad, soup to nuts. It's really cool. It's probably about 15, 20 pages.
Look at all the AK product he has.
Yeah, they had some really cool. Wow.
I'm surprised you can't hear the rain. It's raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat rock back here.
It's just started here too. I just turned the radar on and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I'm in here.
Yeah, right. Clark Kooning. He's no stranger to what's on your workbench. Stuff to build. Looks like he's got a bunch of sticks. I'm sure that'll turn into the Taj Mahal when he's done.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah, what a talented modeler he is. Reese Caston. All right. Got several grain cars on the bench, weathering and new KD couplers. His bench is insanely clean.
Yeah,
So many possibilities with that BN car.
I know.
hmm
I know.
John Dick on my workbench watching these guys reposition buoys while on vacation.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good.
John, that's pretty good. If we ever end up sharing a beer sometime, you'll have to ask me about how me and my buddy accidentally replaced a channel marker one day, muskie fishing. All right, Benjamin Thomas Zahner, working on the river scene. Just finished building and painting the Blair Line trestle. And the first layer of Woodland Scenic's fine earth blend, and using some JTT rocks for the, and it's not Jonathan Taylor Thomas, that's scenic supplier JTT for the erosion on the hill, sides, and the embankments. Also painted painted where Apple Creek will travel for the N scale KCS Baxter Springs branch, Perry Central Railroad. Next on the list is a second layer of scenery plus putting the resin in for the creek. I love it. It's coming together. Well done. Look at all the stickers he's got there in the
I
back.
know. That's impressive.
Yeah. All right. Chris Ketch. With the insane heat this week, I've set up a temporary workbench downstairs in the AC. Smart.
Yeah.
Working on painting the sill strips on my freelance New York Central C30-7s. Painted the trucks on one of my freelance lines RS11s and put together and painted the T-track modules. All right. It's looking good. Even a table.
For a temporary setup, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Smart to get out of the heat.
Yeah.
It's no fun when you're sweating, you're putting pan pastels down or powder, Bragdon powders, and a drip of sweat goes in there and ruins the whole thing.
Oh.
Robert Darby, since I will be home, I thought I would clean off the desk while watching the second section program tonight. But I had to do.
This is clean?
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, by our standards, it's clean.
Oh, okay.
But I had to do some product placement first. Check couplers, weathering and dull coat, working on about 6 projects, and the old blue boxes and MDC boxes make for good storage. I'm telling you, I think so too. My workspace is getting smaller and smaller. It's true. You do have a little more space here, and we do appreciate the Farland Terminal product placement there.
Yes.
It's very good. Very good. All right. Mike Slater. With this weekend, I'm out watching trains this weekend. So this was the last thing on my workbench is an Athearn Hustler. I also have upgraded a PDF instruction with parts list in the file section of this group's Facebook page.
This is just absolutely, because did you ever own one of those?
I never did.
The rubber band drive and the whole, what Mike is doing with this is just absolutely impressive as all hell. This is really cool.
He's got a decoder buddy on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Slater's insane.
Mike Slater, former Workbench of the Week winner, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, Mike's absolutely, when he gets his meat hooks into something, he just goes all out.
Yeah. Here we go. Dwight Anderson. It's been busy on the modern Milwaukee Road, Iowa division and the modern Burlington lines west. Since the last What's on Your Workbench segment, I finished up and upgraded the V&O BB 86-foot auto parts car. And I have a CB&Q GP28 and GP39E to be completed. I made a CB&Q tool car and a power car for my steam excursion train. A unknown metal Milwaukee 864 to upgrade, a Concord Milwaukee RPO to convert into an actual lookalike, a Spectrum Sleeper converted into a CB&Q 12.2 Creighton University, and a laser kit built MLW Madison River, a kit bashed AHM 10.6 Sleeper.
Holy cow.
What is I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I just keep reading these numbers and they keep going on here. And then a Milwaukee Lake Series lookalike, Concord RPO converted into a Milwaukee RPO, and last a Pennsylvania Railroad RPO kit bashed into a Milwaukee RPO lookalike. Whew.
You want to take a breath?
I need a beat. First of all,
they look great.
Yeah. Really, I'm always impressed when he posts stuff. Does such a good job, Dwight, with the what if scenario here. Points for the taco sauce, the power drill.
Yep.
Like that.
I like how he integrated the GP28.
In the back here, yeah.
Yeah, the GP28 and then the GP39E, those are BN rebuilds are what they are.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a true Jeep 28. I think he's doing the rebuild.
We'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Dwight, let us know.
Yeah.
It's good. Ooh, small things. Danny, random state. Wow. I like how you added the piping.
Yeah.
And the steering wheel, and the seat is very realistic.
Those seats were so uncomfortable.
Yeah. We always used to use those types of tractors for running the hay elevator.
Yeah.
That was all they were good for. Holy smokes.
Oh, here we go.
John Garvin. I'm all right. It's party time. On and more off over the last few months, I've been working on some scrap gondolas. They sat on my bench for a few months as I wasn't sure of my way forward with the fade. Inspired to finish the gondolas after listening to last week's Around the Layout about weathering with Teddy Delorio. I think I got it right.
Okay.
Today I ordered some decals from Black Cat Publishing in Winnipeg.
Oh. Have you ever ordered anything from them?
No.
I'm going to write that place down. Black Cat.
Yeah. I love the fact that you got the stuff on the workbench here ready to go. I like the use of the photos. I think that's good. Like the call out of the around the layout. That was good. But I think you could get a couple more Gons in here. The second section mug, that's chef's kiss too.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Roger Kajawa. I'm zip weathering all my cars so they have some dirt and rust. Makeup from the dollar store.
Oh.
Yep. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
The looks I got in line were worth it. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. Depending on which dollar store you go to, like if it was Dollar General, that's probably not like the weirdest thing that's happened in that store today.
If it's Dollar Tree, probably the same thing. It's not the most odd thing that's ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Family Dollar, you might get a cross-eyed look there. Yeah. But I'm telling you, Dollar General is like the Waffle House of dollar stores.
Hey, I love the Waffle House. There's nothing wrong with the Waffle
I
House.
didn't say there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying some interesting folks hang out there.
Oh,
Todd
yes.
Todd Trester antennas on my OCS passenger car roofs. Todd's got, boy, he's got a lot of stuff on here. We got potential here, Todd. I like that. It's good. Jason E. Sandberg teaching my summer camp students on how to weather equipment for Gaslands 164th. I first of all love the fact that you're passing along your knowledge.
Nice way to mass produce some weathering and
Get the
things like
camp
that.
kids to do it.
Having the camp kids get to do it.
I got a whole bunch of cars. that need
A brilliant idea.
there you go. Here we go. Andy Panett. My O-gauge British Rail Class 122 in BR blue livery with the Greater Glasgow decals applied. Runs on my Castlebank Sidings 1977 exhibition layout.
It's actually kind of cool looking.
That is a cool looking.
Some of that European stuff
equipment.
is just neat. You know,
Look at the details on. Like the hoses. Like look at this. This is no joke. It's beautiful. Well done, Andy. Jeff Hutton working on camp cars. Is this a thing that we don't know about? Like getting
camp cars?
Campers? Oh, the camp car.
The camp car.
Ah, the blessing. Gets bonus points for the taco sauce here.
Yeah.
This is a cool car.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Ralph Ranzetti.
Here we
go. I should have known. He got it in the right spot. I was going to go back afterwards and pull it out, but he managed to get it in the right spot. So look at this deal. A CN 6400 series U4A loco in brass has always been high on my wish list. It's rare, and when it's available is very expensive. So I made my own.
Shut the front door. You did not.
I bet you he did. Let's read on here. It's basically a streamlined 484 Northern. A friend of mine had one, and we made a deal. We would will the loco to me if he passed away first. Well, I'm still here, and he passed away 2 years after I made mine from a Bachmann J-Class shell and running gear from a GS4. And so photos of the CN 6400. So now the brass one is on my workbench for a paint job, a refit, and conversion to DCC. This is going to be fun. I've never worked with brass before. Second picture is my version of the brass one. So first of all, Ralph, I'm sure this is well within your wheelhouse to work with brass.
Yeah,
if anyone's going to get it right, it's going to be you.
Yeah, there's no question whether or not you're going to be able to handle doing that. I mean,
beautiful.
It's just that is a gorgeous looking locomotive.
So he put another one.
Did he put a second one?
Yeah, here's a second photo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that stands out to me about this one compared to the other one is the trailing truck. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See how that trailing truck is a little bit further. It's a little different, a little bit further back. But I mean, if you're trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, and this is what you had to work with, holy crap!
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's.
Good job, Ralph.
And had you not ever said anything, Ralph, about this one right here,
would
have never known. That's a beautiful looking locomotive. Job well done.
Yeah. Hats off to you, Ralph. Greetings, all. This is Peter Moyle. My workbench is currently covered in Cato locomotive parts. I have completed 2 SD38-2s and 1 SD9. I still have a SD40 and an SD45 to finish. Whew. Look at the use of the vertical here. This is a page right out of Tony's playbook. This is good. I love it. Taco sauce or a version of it here in the corner. I do love the Cato parts just strewn everywhere.
If he's got that many locomotives tore apart, how does he know what part goes to what engine?
He always knows.
Well, wait a minute. Is that maybe just one locomotive all tore apart?
Can't know.
On the bottom?
This one's probably all the same.
That's all
project,
one loco,
right?
same project. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I retract my previous statement.
You're allowed. You're allowed. Another Ralph Renzetti just left my workbench. I do this just like Boomer to regain my mojo.
The old Batmobile sitting in the bog. That is phenomenal, Ralph. The barn find. It's an old Batmobile. Wait a minute. What's it say in the newspaper there? What's
Batman.
It,
it says Batman.
Batman.
Look at the leaves.
Holy cow. Wow.
Oh, wow. Just on a whole other planet, Ralph.
Yep. Yeah.
Todd Stevens, same thing that has been on my bench for a month. Seems to be the summertime theme here. Dual scale sound speakers, speaker install in an Athearn Genesis SD70, Illinois Central, of course. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, been there, done that.
Oh, Paul Stamp.
Oh,
my freelance GP30 project.
Oh.
What does this say? The creek?
The creek route?
The creek route. All right. GTW.
Genesee,
Wyoming
transportation. Nice. Mm-hmm. I like the way he's got that paint scheme set up, that where he's got the lettering integrated as part of the stripe. That's really cool.
That's good. Bunch of home shop stuff back there. Love
What's
that.
in the box? What's in the box?
Here we go. Timmy Ellum Chapman, welcome back. I see a dirty hand and some. Well, you know he's weathering, right? So your hands always get all schmaltzed up, right? And some.
I just like the fact that he used his hand. He's got his big greasy mitt sitting right there.
The greasy meat hand.
He's got that sitting there in order to take up all the space that's not being used on his workbench.
I hope it's his hand.
That might just have to be in the running just on principle alone for that one.
Yeah, a novelty and the panel wash. But
yeah,
Timmy always does a great job. I think Timmy's also a former Workbench of the Week winner. Oh. Phil Zagon, C628's awaiting some dirt. I'm going to give this guy high marks just on the old Northwestern C628s. I'm also going to give him some marks for the yellow.
Jeez. Well, wait a minute. That's the old yellow.
Stagecoach yellow, I think.
Yeah, that's the stagecoach yellow. That's not.
And it looks kind of, that one on the end looks a little Zito-ish, but I can't tell. Taco sauce, like that. Moffat Tunnel there, that's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. Nice one, Phil. Uh-oh, Jeff Schultz. Here we go. Oh. My neglected workbench. Oh, this is a beaut.
Yeah, I mean, there is space there, but holy cow. I mean,
this makes my day. Look at the Play-Doh on the floor. This is it.
There's not even room for a chair there.
No,
Or
well,
wait,
it's kind of in here. Look at all the decoders.
no
Oh my
wonder nobody
goodness.
can get any. They're all over at Jeff's
I
house.
was gonna say Jeff's got them all. This is nice. This is beautiful, Jeff.
Look at a
I love it.
multi-arm tool there.
Yeah, yeah. Daniel Leduc.
That's a cool picture.
This is really nice. I always love Chessie. Oh, I just love trains. I guess maybe that's my case here. Just put this Athearn Genesis CSX Jeep 40-2 number 6441 in service on the Queso subdivision. Ready to make some great video on TikTok. That's a thing. TikTok videos. I enjoy scrolling through TikTok and watching train videos. Other than that, pretty quiet this summer on the layout, but can't wait to get back on it. By the way, I missed the Farland Terminal boxcar. I'm crying. I think Ray are not posted. They're going on eBay.
It's got to be fake.
It's fake.
It's got to be fake.
But it was a funny joke.
It was awesome.
Yeah, what was it? $15,000.
$15,000 for a single boxcar.
That was good.
Like, oh my God.
Bill Kenkel not on the workbench, but hand laying some track and turnouts. Oof. Good work, Bill. Hand laying track is it's something. Oh, Jason Sandberg back again here. I'm prepping terrain supplies for the kids at Makerspace each night this week. I love that you're giving back, Jason.
Yep.
Love that. Eric Graham, new layout as I continue my chemo treatments. Best of luck to you with the chemo. And I'm glad that you're still pressing on with the layout. The new Pulaski County Rail. Look at this green elevator.
I know that's looking pretty nice.
That's nice. Keep us up to date, Eric. Gary Bender, my current project is a Union Pacific A90-2 50-foot auto car. Dang. It's coming along nice.
That looks really cool. That car, that logo has always been cool.
Yeah, with the map on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one too. My other project is to construct a pair of CB&Q XM4 class 50-foot box cars. Is this one of them Canon Company jobs?
I don't know. That looks pretty cool though.
Yeah. Nice job, Gary. Pinch clamps, large. Close pins and C clamps. That's a lot of organization there, Gary. Cyrus Gillespie, the current state of the workbench, several SP and cotton belt GP9s. Cyrus, this one's up there in the running. Look at that. Got an old letter here. Soldering iron. All of the Tamiya glue you can eat. Good use of the vertical on the little mini organizers. And like those mini organizers, they're just flooded full of non-organized parts.
It's all stuff he hasn't probably even seen in years. He probably hasn't opened one of those drawers in decades.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got the old Kapton tape there, and this is good stuff. Old notebooks. Yep. This is good. Cyrus, this is going to put you in the top 5 for sure. And that's it. We're at the bottom.
That was it?
We went through 50 some. It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime.
Oh, I'm off tomorrow, so I have no bedtime.
All right. We got to go through the scoring now. This is the part of the evening that we all love here. Still got 139 of you carrying us to the end.
I know. All right, so I've got it narrowed down to between 3 people.
Okay, lay it on me.
I got Jeff Schultz.
I got Jeff Schultz,
I got Peter Moyle,
Peter Moyle.
and I got Cyrus. I take it that's the same three you have.
So I actually have one other person in there.
Okay.
So Mike Shanky had a very
I got him on the list as on the maybe side.
yeah, he's in the top 5 this week. And I feel Tony Dixon has to be in the conversation. Because that was impressive.
Yeah.
And here's Luke trying to buy some votes. But what about
the baseball diamond? Your baseball diamond looked nice, Luke. It's not your workbench that's on your layout, you know. But it looks very pretty. It looks very nice.
Yeah, it is good. It
would be a shame. It would be a shame for something to happen to it the next time I go over to the house.
He's gonna booby trap that thing. You're gonna touch something and your hand's gonna blow off.
Oh, I know he is.
Yeah.
He's gonna have like a 9-volt battery and everything. And
yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. You know what?
I kind of.
How long would it take for you to put that something like a circle of death together?
A circle of death? It would take me a little bit of time.
Oh,
more time than I would want to put into it tonight.
Okay.
I think, boy,
I
might need a little help from the section crew on this one. So I think it's going to be between Cyrus, Peter, and Jeff.
Yeah. Because the other guys, while they did great, they've been past winners.
Yeah. And Tony is pretty much like the gold standard when it comes to what's on your workbench.
Yeah.
He could win every week.
Yeah. There's just I mean,
my vote's for Jeff.
This is where we need to pull these up again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're right. Let's just drag this out so painfully. Okay. So this was Mike Shanky. Remember, he doesn't have a lot of size here in terms of workspace and how much he's piled on. I'm bringing it up. Just hang on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So he's basically working on a space heater, right?
Yeah.
So that's his workbench.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean,
and he's got Farland Terminal stuff there. He's trying to buy a vote here.
I know he is. All right. What about Jeff?
Okay, so let's go down to Jeff.
Or whoever's next in line. Peter, I think Peter Moyle might have been before Jeff.
All right. So we've seen Tony, Peter. The Coast Guard one was fun too.
Yeah, that was that one was pretty good.
Oh God, where are you? That's John Garvin, Roger Kajawa. Did I miss it? Ralph. Here's Peter. So here's Peter with the Cato explosion that happened on his workbench.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got that. And then we had Ralph can't win for Batman.
No.
And then Jeff Schultz.
It's just
all around.
And on the floor and
the Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Cyrus, which was the very last one.
Cyrus was the last one. Ooh.
Here. I'm sorry to say this, but Peter, I'm going to reduce my list by 2.
Okay.
And only reason is because there's, I just feel it. I think I've got to go with Jeff Schultz because Cyrus. Well, this looks like a much smaller space, and while while Jeff had a bigger space and a little bit more of an area that didn't have coverage, the
Yep.
literal amount of other stuff that was floating around from floor to darn near, I can only imagine, ceiling of the rest of that. I would say it would go Jeff, Cyrus, Peter on this one. That would be my.
I think, yeah, and I'm gonna go Jeff, Cyrus, Mike. So,
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah. So we're
Jeff
gonna get.
Schultz is gonna take the taco.
Yep, Jeff Schultz is going to get it.
Jeff
He
Schultz
wins.
is.
He's going to win the book.
He's going to win the book. So make sure you reach out to Jeff. I don't know if you're friends with Mike on Facebook. Send him a DM. Get the address, and we'll get that shipped out post haste. And I just want to thank everyone, Cyrus and Mike and Peter again for being good sports about this and playing the game.
Everybody did a great job.
It's good to see the projects too.
It is. It really is. And we just saw some incredible modeling too. I mean, it's just
we
just
have
really, really, really good all the way around. So
anyways, yeah. So that I think that was a good what's on your workbench. Let us know either in the Facebook group or in the chat tonight. What'd you think of us going back in these last two shows to kind of the older format, where we're getting back to our segments and those types of things? If you like that better, just give us a thumbs up or just let us know how we're doing. So here we go, Jeff Schultz here, and it hasn't made it past the coffee table yet. So, and you see here, David Winther, old format, best format. So, I think we're also going to try. I'm going to try and sneak in a brew with the crew sometime soon as well. It's summertime. It's hot.
We have St. Louis coming up.
We got St. Louis.
St. Louis is coming up. I believe, what is it? October is.
No, it's July.
No. October is Naperville.
Yep, and then
is it
Colorado is in September.
Colorado is in September. I'm going to that, by the way. Yeah. Are you going to that?
I have not confirmed nor denied that. I have to spend a ton of money here in the next 3 months, so my budget might be a little stressed. So, but nonetheless, I'll be there in spirit for sure. If I can't make the trip out there.
Yeah. I've got some work to do. I've got to get, I've been ordered to create something, and I have to get on my high horse and start getting it taken care of.
Yeah, you get on that.
Yeah, I will.
Do it. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people mix it up. I like the old format. Need this every once in a while. So yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of start weaving in a little more of the old stuff, to keep things going. I think that'll be good. And
I think it's good if we mix up some guests and things like that. Definitely got to get back to doing short line of the show a little bit more. And I like doing the what's on your workbench. That's always a good segment.
Mix it up.
Yep.
So that's what we'll do. We'll mix it up for you guys. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to support us. And you also, if you subscribe to us, our shows come up in your feed, so that way you don't miss them. And then the other thing is, if you're a Facebook user, go ahead and check out our Facebook group. And then there's a new feature on YouTube now under the community tab. If you don't like Facebook, but you do like YouTube, you can post your own pics and make posts on the Second Section podcast community tab now, so you can share your stuff there if you want to keep it in the YouTube universe. So it's kind of a cool little thing that we're eligible for now. So and then Mike, you're going to say something here.
I just want everybody to know that Andy and I have also talked, and I'm sure Andy was probably going to get to this, but I just happened to think of it, so I might as well jump on it right now.
Yeah.
with it being summer, Andy's got a lot of family obligations. I've got family obligations, and as well as a bunch of travel coming up. Going to St. Louis. My wife and I've got some things going on with some friends and things like that. So the month of July, we're kind of going to be up in the air with when we're going to do a show. So that may be one of those things where we do a brew with a crew or something like that when we can. So the normal, like if we were to go the normal 2 more weeks, I'm gone. 2 weeks after that, I'm in St. Louis. Then so we're gonna have the month of July is gonna be very busy for both Andy and myself. And we would really love to be able to do our normal shows, but we may have to have some scheduling changes there. Just so stay tuned. We'll let you know what's going on, and everything.
Maybe even shorter shows too.
Yeah, they might even be like 45-minute or an hour. That's it, and we're done. It might be one of those deals. So it's not like we don't want to. Like I said, we don't. It's not like we don't want to do the really good. It's just July is like
it's the worst.
It's the worst month of the year for getting things scheduled. It's so many activities going on. Jeez Louise.
Derek Alexander, stick around and do the show. Get your priorities in order.
Yes. You know what?
We're around all winter.
We're here all winter. No, I'm not saying that I may not try to do a short little live feed from the St. Louis show. It won't be like I did at Colorado. It definitely wouldn't be like what I did at the Rocky Mountain Train show, but just I might pop in and say hi, just kind of see who all's doing it. We'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of manufacturers there, a lot of friends that we know in the model railroad manufacturing community. They might want to hop on and just say hi to the section crew. We'll never know. So that's time will tell with that. So, and you're not going this year, correct?
St. Louis? No, I'm taking St. Louis off this year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and this may be my last every year St. Louis show, where things are starting to get expensive.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way of doing it. So and I like going to the Colorado stuff, and so it may be a thing where every other year I'm going one or the other. So, but we'll see. Time will tell. But
and that's it. So I thought again, a good show. If you guys have questions about the what I'm doing on the layout, you can check out the Facebook group there, and then I do have one for my model railroad specifically. I got a page and a group for the Mascoutin Valley Railroad. I've been posting a little more there lately. This next week, though, I will have a lot of content to share in those areas as well, and I'll cross post in second section stuff like that, so you guys can keep up. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting some summertime modeling done. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mike. So we'll just keep on keeping on, and what do we always say here at the second section?
Just keep on modeling.
Night, everybody.